To another episode of Guy Cormier Stories today. We're going to have a lot to talk about, different things. So without further ado, let me bring you in my host and director so that we both could talk at the same time and you could be able to see him. So welcome, Brian LaPayower.
Hey Guy,
Brian.
how are you?
I'm doing okay, and you?
Good. Great to see you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Would you ever expect me to change the show around for one episode?
This is like completely different, though. I'm right now broadcasting and directing from the booth, and you're in the studio. This is probably a first ever. You want to know something, Guy? I always ask our studio operation manager Kenny. I wanted to do the same thing on the other show I do with the the football picks as well as shows. Unfortunately. I just wish they had an additional camera, a camera 4, out here in this room instead of like having to see his second camera, turned over though. But
yeah,
it is a completely different experience and everything, though. Let me try to put my name up at least there. See, my name up. I produce now a program called Astrology, Angels, and More. My his name is Mary Silvernail, and the programs is a. Basically, we go in. She goes. My host is a Native American astrologer, right? She's been a frequent guest on Spiritual Exploration. She's been on Thomas and Thomas the program. God's Way Yatave. She's been a guest on Tuning to Angels, mostly spiritual shows and anything else though. So. But she made her first appearance in 2010 on Spiritual Exploration, hosted by and produced by Christine Javone. So recently, the host, my host, as a guest, asked around if she's willing to make. She's coming out to New Jersey, so she makes the long trip from New Jersey to host a program in Staten Island.
Oh wow, that must you must like doing. A different pace of a different show. So do you have any other shows or anything else that you might like to do?
To tell you the truth, Guy, I miss my program, LaPayower Reports. If I'm able to at least revive the program I started back in 2011 with, of course, you as my first guest on the program for the first 2 shows, I would have to bring it back in another form. I would have to bring it back in a portable form. I just got to make a round to put pieces together and put it in as a special. So I want to try at least get that. I'm praying to get it done before the end of 2019, before we roll into the year 2020.
Oh wow!
Yes.
And what about because you right now you're doing a portable? Is that correct?
The portable has not been developed yet. I'm still in the working stages on it.
Okay, and would you ever take a camera out, or I know you got your own camera. Would you ever do any filming on the outside for a future show?
You want to know something? I did some filming. I use a portable stand, and I have my own equipment using a microphone, a shotgun microphone. It's called an XLR Pro adapter, which helps distribute the sound between 2 audio devices. I did learn something though, an experience though. When you have a camcorder with 2 what you call external ports like the XLRs, or a like physical let me put it this way though. You do not want to mix sounds between both a microphone and a shotgun microphone. At least have work one but not the other. Plus another thing, you gotta make sure both channels are working. Even though you're using one microphone, because there's a left channel and a right channel, you put it in stereo, you'll have one microphone coming out one channel only, and then you have something else. I've seen these mistakes several times from several different people do portable though. Because I listened to there's one person did footage back in 2015, and it was nice. The footage looked good. The only negative though that whoever runs the camera and audio equipment, they had to make sure they're using both channels of stereo, even though they're using one microphone. And then, of course, because then they also had what you call mixed in with iPhone, selfie footage. And, of course, you hear full stereo sound. So some people, so basically, to anybody that's producing footage, you got to make sure you have both channels of stereo on your either the camcorder or external device. Otherwise, you put it on stereo sound, you're going to have at least one channel, and people are not going to
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Seriously,
Wow, that's really interesting. What about like when you're when you're videotaping on location?
Yes.
Do you use a windshield on the mic?
Believe it or not, yes, I do. I have a windscreen. I have this microphone right here. Yes, I use this type of what's called cushion piece for the shotgun. This. I don't want to mention the names of shotgun microphone. There's so many different brands out there, but you don't want to use if you want to if you're using this in the studio right here, you want to make sure you use a regular plain windscreen without the advertisement of the manufacturer though.
And do you use an omnidirectional mic?
I would use an omnidirectional, yes.
And while I went on the topic of talking about cameras a little bit and the technical stuff, why don't you explain to the audience about the equipment in the control room, the audio board, the TriCaster, the monitors? Why don't you explain to the audience the technical aspects of the TriCaster?
Well, all I gotta say is I could switch over to another camera, right? I think we go over to the camera 2, and this is the exterior right here. On the show, I'm not able to show Guy though, because unless I'm on using, of course, the fourth camera. Going basically on 2 here, we have of course the sound mixer. We have the audio controls right here. We also have the shot clock. We have a telephone with, of course, this is not a live show anyway, so there's no physical callers. We have a monitor right here showing with the commands such as, graphics, pictures, audio, etc. It's so much to jargon to explain in the technology that we use here in the studio. Believe it or not, Guy, if I remember correctly, you did a show out here in the control room. If you
Yes,
remember
I have.
Yes.
I've done it. If I'm correct, this would be my 3rd time doing something like this.
Yes.
The first time I did a show in the control room. The first one was in control room A, where I would take the camera out and bring it into the control room itself. So that would be the first time.
Yeah.
And then last year I did it. Mm-hmm. And now today we're doing the same thing, but a little bit different from the other 2 times because we're doing a split screen, so that everybody at home could see me and my director and her guest in the control room at the same time.
Right. The only negative that we have is, unfortunately, when we're doing the split screen right here, Guy, unfortunately, does not have a backdrop. If I go to, let's say, the 3rd camera, there'll be a backdrop for Guy. See? Nice, beautiful backdrop of Guy, but unfortunately, unfortunately, they haven't got to that far, with the technology yet. I'm sure it's out there, but they probably haven't upgraded where you have a virtual backdrop and, of course, a control room, though.
Yeah, definitely.
I want when it comes to the other program we work on, which I'm actually just basically a guest or director, which of course you Guy have also directed too, Friends of Olympics. I wanted at least to have one of the cameras do the same thing like here. But the only negative part would probably have no backdrop, so that's probably more of a TAVID issue, though. But I'm sure if they have upgraded equipment, then I'm sure it'll be possible, though.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be really cool also, additionally, to have a camera right above us and also a backdrop go down, at least not seeing, of course, the door leading to the rest of the studio.
Yeah.
But that's another story right there.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's always good to have backup when you're doing anything in the studio or if you're doing anything in the portable, because you can never tell if the original footage could be lost. So that's why you always will have a backup of a backup.
Right.
Yes. And it's always good to every so often to update the equipment, because everything around you, just like, I'll give you an example. Well, when you have computer stores or manufacturers that make computers and they design them,
Yeah.
by the time they get to the store, the computers are obsolete already, because they were working on the next generation of computers already. Same thing with any type of electronics,
Right.
or any kind of equipment. It's always getting constantly updated.
That's correct, Guy. Usually the time span on most computer equipment is usually good within about good 10 years. So it all depends on the make and model. So you got to go by, let's say if you bought a computer, let's say in 2015, then it's good to about 2025, the equipment. Just debate. Depends on the firmware, software, and also all the et cetera for upgrading, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And any electronics, there's always, especially with computers or media equipment, there will always be files and software that's, even with our cell phones or cable, the software will always get updated on a regular basis or a yearly basis, depending on what kind of equipment it is.
Right, absolutely, though. Because I got my computer back in 2017, and I planned on what to have in my computer. Like, for instance, for like graphics card, ROMs to read software. Most computers today don't even have ROMs to basically. They're basically now external. That's what they did. They figured go external, have faster speeds, but of course there's more of a dollar value when you purchase those items. Plus, you got to have enough ports in order to have all your prep tools to work. So basically, for anyone who watches everything's all in like digital format, but there's still consumers out there that still want to watch your DVD or Blu-ray or 4K, but also keep in mind too, even monitor technologies have to be compatible too. Here's another technical tip I'm going to tell you about. If you have a 4K Blu-ray player, right?
Right.
And you play a 4K Blu-ray disc, your television is 1080p. Will the disc play? I'm going to tell you this part. Every 4K player is backwards compatible to past resolutions. So in other words, you could play a 4K movie. It's going to let you know that it's going to let you know that the footage is for high definition for 4K viewing. So what the 4K player will do is go back to 1080p.
Wow.
Yes, so you'll be able because remember, the higher the quality, and even if your TV is not, it will basically downscale back to, a previous resolution. I think it was one of the movies, John Wick 3? John Wick series. So my stepfather has a 4K version of it, and the TV sub is 1080. So it gave the disclaimer that it's a 4K movie and stuff. So I checked the information on resolution. It went to the 1080 resolution, said the 4K.
Yeah, because,
it's still playable.
And because you have to go use that type of setting according to, let's say, to match the major networks of what they are using. Or depending, or actually, sometimes people would like to watch TV in the letterbox format,
right?
Or they would want to watch in the stretch format, where in the letterbox it would be basically let's say this. I think there's two versions of that, where you'll see black on all sides, or you just see black on the left and right side, and it'll be filled up in the middle.
Right.
Or if you want to use the setting for a stretch, then it'll be black bars on top and black bars on bottom, while the rest of it be a stretch. Which the stretch part would be like if you are in a movie theater,
right?
Type thing. And same thing. With audio, you could adjust the audio according to what your preferences are.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you want, because like if you just have a TV and you put it on a movie setting and audio,
Yeah.
it would give just a little bit of the feeling.
Right.
But if you really want the total package or the total experience of a theater in your own home, you would have to get speakers that would be set up in, let's say, in the four corners, one in each corner of the room.
Yeah.
And you have to set it up like that, and that's the only way you're going to get the same kind of sounds and feeling like, and it's in your own home, and you have that feeling like, hey, I'm in the theater.
Right. And I mean, everybody has different audio equipment and different surround sound setups, though. And what you were talking before is about the cinema scope experience, though. The ratios are 169 to 1 ratio. That's the full fit widescreen. And the other one is 235 to 1 ratio for the widescreen with, what you call the lowered widescreen, they call it.
Right.
If you go like a movie theater, if it's 235 to 1 ratio, if you see that on the screen of a TV set, what they'll do is the theater curtains will extend a little longer. Otherwise, the theater will just stay normal with their stretch out. They'll stretch out a little bit, though, but not stretch a little bit longer than extended, though, on the widths and lengths.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think? Have you ever tried yet for your show to edit a whole show?
Unfortunately, no. I do have a one computer program. I'm gonna, they have more software programs available. So what I'm gonna have to do is, invest in that and basically learn how to learn to edit. I mean, I have a personal computer, so I use PC operating software. And here in our studio, CTV, we use Mac computers, and I use the Final Cut program. So
yeah, because editing isn't really it's not that hard. It's very easy.
Right.
But has there ever been something that you feel passionate about, that you feel that you would like to make a show out of?
Well, from what I could get at least I could do is like cut and paste. So I know we have an open, disclaimer, though. I could at least easily do that. My only trouble is with upgrades. If I have to upgrade technology and software, I have the technology, software. I'd be able to at least have music and introduction. I'll have to basically make a cut and paste of myself while in front of the camera with maybe this type of microphone or any other external equipment, such as maybe like a portable microphone, which I do not have. And then I'll have the ability to fade into, let's say, like a physical, maybe a section from my show when I was taping here in the room, or something portable. Because most of the equipment, software-wise, I also want to at least put a lower third, and if I had at least the same investment to have the same the same technology here in the studio, that would actually have a benefit to me too. I mean, even though everybody has different shows, different looks, so what I'm trying to say, Guy. You want people to, at least be comfortable for what they look, and then if they don't like it, they could change the channel.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody who expresses themselves artistically, whether it's through media, like what we do, and we produce our own TV shows, or people do art by painting or building, or through music, or through movies, or through just about any kind of art form, is self-expression and what they feel passionate about and what their style of artistic expression is.
Right.
That what they find they could take anything and make art out of, and it's just they use their imagination of what their vision is, what they want to see, and how, and they just like picture how it will turn out even before they even start to make the art or whatever it is that they are very interested in. It's just all the idea, concept, the preparation of what you want to do, and when it gets done, it's either going to be good or it's going to be lousy. It all depends on how important it is to you and how passionate you are whether if the art would be good or the art could be bad. Sometimes bad art could be good, and sometimes good art could be bad. It's just the perception of different people have their own set of ideas and visions of how they want to produce their art. Right. Sometimes you can make a career out of it, and sometimes you can't. It all depends on networking and meeting the right people and being at the right place at the right time, which doesn't hurt either. But everybody on this planet has a talent of one sort or another. It depends on what you want to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
That's absolutely. I agree with that. What else do you want to? Yeah, I mean, as far as art, I mean, you can't just I mean, oh my God, oh wow, look at how about this weather, Guy?
Huh?
How about this weather we're having?
My mom?
No, the weather. The weather.
The weather.
Yeah, the weather.
Okay, because the weather's been let's just say the weather's been cool.
Yeah.
I think they said I think tomorrow Friday's going to be raining out. Yeah. But I don't. But that's what the weathermen have been saying.
Right.
A lot of times, and sometimes they'll say it's going to rain, and sometimes it just don't.
Right.
But the weather so far, it hasn't been cold and it hasn't been hot. It's just been comfortable.
Okay. I was trying to get to the point about the art and everything. I mean, yes, there are many, talented artists out there, though, but you got to have, more than just artwork, though. A lot of people have, release a regular day job and they make the artwork, a side job, too. Some people can get financially successful with the artwork. If it doesn't work out, then you got to, try to lead on to something else, though. Not everything's guaranteed life. It's like a grain of salt. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about lately? We're going to talk about. Have you seen on the news how some people are being attacked in the subway? And that's a shame. There's no reason to do that. So the people who do that must have some kind of mental problem. What's your point? What's your view on that?
Here's what best I could tell you, though. My mom, she used to work for the transit. My stepdad and my stepfather, they retired as of 2019. And as far as the politicians that we have currently in the borough in the what can I say, Guy? If they're gonna say something or they're fix something, then do it, though. I mean, the system itself, it's been. I mean, since you were released in junior high school, has not been at least the same. I can tell you that for a fact. They switched off from the tokens to the Metro card. They made some measures for safety where they made sure, let me give an example, though. One of the train stops, one of the train airplane stations in Queens, they made sure there's no cross track where one train doesn't get intercepted to another train, anything like that, though. And saying it and doing it is two different things, though. But it's all about the finances and everything. What it comes down to. I mean, if one of the train lines, I think where the I guess we call it the Nass Street line, where the train letters, the J, the M, and the Z line. They've been running, and also the Fulton lines too, the A, C, and E. They've been running some older train cars, which have been around since like at least the 1960s and 70s, and even Staten Island too. We have trains about that same era. And everyone should at least have newer trains and everything. What to do to trains afterwards, at least keep some of them for historically at the New York City Transit Museum. But another thing they should really do with the trains is just, like I said, they talked about newer trains just recently, like a few years ago, with the transit system, and they're not keeping their word. Let's put it that way. They're not keeping their word with the trains.
Definitely. It's like when we were talking before about software updates.
Yeah.
And there's there's another term that the same definitions would be upgrades,
right.
which would basically be similar definitions to it, and like in the subways. Right. Sometimes have you ever hear they take the subway, and you'll hear the public announcements.
Yes. And
you could barely. Sometimes you can make it out, and it's not loud, but most of the times, you can't because it sounds like it's being mumbled, and I think that's because of the system itself with the MTA. The MTA system needs an upgrade in a lot of ways.
Well, they haven't fixed up the audio recently. I know in some stations they did fix up the garbling audio and make sure everything's all less congested for what the conductors say. They'll say like attention passengers, the D train is delayed for about 5 minutes. Please use alternative ways or something like that. They'll be like, there's a train approaching. Please step away from this. Please step away from the low line.
Yeah, because the MTA, they do a good job in some ways, but they need to really upgrade their system as far as subways and buses goes. But the reason, a lot of times, they make the upgrades and we get either sometimes we get good service and sometimes we get bad. It fluctuates between the two.
I can tell you this, Guy. There are some train lines that had to be at least repaired or at least upgraded. Like for instance, on the F line, there is a Bergen Street lower level. They should at least repair that. Have at least one train on one top and have one train on the bottom. They recently made Transit finally restored a F Express line in Brooklyn, which could run at least past certain amount of stops from Church Avenue to at least about Barclay Center, I believe, or somewhere near there, or York, whatever it was, to Manhattan, to ease out and stuff. So they made some limited stops with an Express line, but there'll be a morning service and then an evening service for it. Right. So that's one. It's a restored improvement on the F line. Other lines like the A and C line, the ones the full line though. If everyone knows on the map, you can see the A train has 3 different terminals. 3 in Queens. You got Far Rockaway. You got Rockaway Parkway, and then you also got the one on 121st Street, which called Ozone Park.
Right.
I think they should do is make the 8 maybe and they also have the shuttle too. So maybe they should have the shuttle train go from Rockaway Park to Far Rockaway Mott Avenue.
Yeah.
How about that? And then you have, of course, to Broad Channel. You maybe restore the A. Maybe restore another train line, like the K line. There used to be an H line. They should do that, or the K. They should at least have them do that. Restore some train lines.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you 100%.
Right.
What do you think about? Lately, it was in the news about a crowd of people jumping the turnstile because they were angry with undercover cops arresting fare beaters. And to me, that crowd, I can understand where they're coming from.
Right.
But that doesn't give that. But that's no excuse not to pay your fare. There are programs if you can't afford it. There are government programs out there that would be able to help you transport with the funds for transportation wise.
Right.
The law is there for everybody.
Right.
The law is there for our own protection, and there's a right way to protest and a wrong way. And what they did was basically they were basically committing a crime.
Absolutely. On top of that, though, they have security cameras right above those turnstiles, so they have a track of at least know who actually crossed over the turnstiles and everything. The question is, will they get prosecuted or not? It's really up to the discretion of the New York State Transit Authority of what they want to do, though. Apparently, one of the Congress people, which I'm not going to mention names or anything, excuse me. Promote saying they have their right. No, it's not a right though. It's still committed crime, Joe. Sure, I can see $2.75, as the current fee to take a bus or a train, and same thing with the excuse me. Wow, it's still absolutely wrong though. But as far as the politicians go, the ones that saying that support them though. The catch is that most of these there's definitely got to be. I can tell you this, Guy. We have there's such thing as a deep state, within one thing, and I felt like that New York State itself has its own deep state as well, though. So.
Yeah, but my point is, what do you think? Your opinion on the fare beaters?
You break the law, you're going to pay for it. Let's put it that way. It's still a crime. Let me tell you something. My mom worked for transit. My stepfather worked for transit, though. I always paid my fare. I never beat it or anything. I always paid my fare. When I was younger, sure. It was it was different then, but I always paid for my fare, though. I understand a lot of people are not happy with the fare, the transit, though. But the problem is this, though. The problem is the people that run the New York City Transit Authority and the politicians such as the borough presidents and the government is not stepping in to do something about that. They're saying their problem is not in their hands. It is a problem here.
Of course.
Okay.
Definitely. We're gonna be talking about other topics in a little while.
Yes.
Right now, I would like to show you some photos.
Okay.
Of when I was at the Staten Island Zoo. So
Okay.
Brian, let's show the pictures.
Let's see if I get it right. Here we go.
And this was here was taken at Clover. The picture before. Okay.
Hold on.
We'll just let the pictures play, and we could talk about
go.
them later.
Okay, so here's the first shot right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're still scrolling for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. Let's put on single. Here we go. So you could talk about Guy.
Okay. This was at the Staten Island Zoo I believe at the primate section of the Staten Island Zoo. They have updated a lot of features in the zoo, especially the aquarium.
Yeah.
The tanks are a bit bigger. They're more concave instead of square. And let me tell you, the Staten Island Zoo is the best little zoo in New York City, and it's a fabulous place. It really is.
Okay.
And so we're just going to, in quiet, we're just going to I'm going to let Brian just show one picture after a couple of seconds out of each one, and so you can see what the Staten Island Zoo looks like.
Okay, here's the next picture, Guy, I think with lemurs?
Yeah, those are lemurs.
Okay. Let's go to our, I think we skipped a lot of pictures here. Let's go to, let me go to the previous shot. Here we go. You remember this?
And I think those animals are. I don't know. I don't know what the heck They look like they could be either antelope or some kind of African animal, but I don't know the name of it.
I think they're gazelles.
Yeah, it could be a gazelle. Could be
Okay.
gazelle.
Okay. I think we have also a, oh, look, a peak.
There's an emu.
Okay. You think he sells insurance?
Huh?
You think he sells insurance?
I don't know.
You know that commercial?
Oh yeah, that commercial. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to, yeah, I know. Let's go to our next shot right here. Boop. Okay.
I believe those are. I think they might be. Those might be deers. I think.
I think so. Okay, in this picture, there's you.
Yeah, and this here is the section of the Staten Zoo is at the right near the Children's Zoo.
Okay.
I believe the Children's Zoo would be either on the left or the right side of that barn.
Okay, we have another one.
Okay, this one here is a little pond where you see behind me or in the back on the side a swan in the Children's Zoo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we have a close-up on it right here.
And that's the full picture of the pond at the Staten Island Zoo.
Are people not throwing anything in that water, are they?
Huh?
People are not throwing anything in the water, are they?
No, they don't.
Okay. Next picture.
That's the bar. I guess that's the part of the barn, or it's like a little bridge that you walk through to get to the children's. What they call it? The children's petting zoo.
The petting zoo.
Yeah.
We have another one. That's.
And that again, that picture is in the primate section of the zoo.
Let's point. Yeah. Now, next picture. Do we pointing at something?
Yeah, and now I'm pointing at the lemur.
The lemurs. You love those lemurs. Next one we have. Oh, look this.
And that's the close-up picture. I know it probably looks a little blurred, but that's the picture of a lemur.
Okay, we have another one.
And that's a great picture I took of the owl in the back part of the zoo.
Okay, how about this one?
And that's at the front. Where I took this picture was at the Clove Lake side of the zoo.
Okay.
I say Clove Road. Correction, I got to correct myself. That's the Clove Road side of the zoo.
Okay, we have another one.
This is Clove Lake Park right here. I was on my way home, and I was just because I did a lot of 6 straight hours of walking. So as I was walking home, I just had to sit down on the bench and just to relax a little bit to regain my energy.
Okay, how about this one?
And that's the alligator. I don't know if that's alligator or crocodile.
That's an alligator.
I think it's probably a croc, because if I'm correct, an alligator has a pointier snout, and a croc is a wider snout.
Right. I think there's 2 of them. Isn't there 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another picture of you, Guy.
And that's also this is also another view of Clove Lake Park.
Okay. I think we have one more picture right here.
This is at the back part of the zoo, right by the gazebo.
Okay. We have any more pictures, or that's about it?
Huh?
Any more pictures, or that's about it?
If you're at the end, I guess that's about it. I guess because there should be like a total of like 21 pictures, and I don't know how many pictures you actually
20 pictures. There was 20 pictures. Okay, let's go fade back. Okay, welcome back.
Yeah. So, what do you thought of those pictures, Brian?
That's good. That's good. I have not been to the zoo in, I say more than good than maybe a long time. I don't remember the last time I've been to the zoo.
No, you haven't been to the zoo in a while?
I haven't been to the zoo in a long. I haven't been to Staten Island Zoo in a very long time. I have not been to the Bronx Zoo for almost 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't been to the Bronx.
Well, Brian, you got to make it a point before the winter comes in and snow comes. Make it a point to go to the Staten Island Zoo. You're going to really enjoy it.
Same thing with the zoos, museums. I mean, the last museum I've been to was the Museum of Moving Image in Queens. That was in 2016. I've been to that museum for the first time ever.
Right. Have you been to Snug Harbor?
Twice in my life. I've been there twice. I believe twice.
Right. And what do you thought about it?
You know, it was in the 90s, so I was only in like junior high school at the time. So I don't even know. I'm not a native of Staten Island. I was originally from Brooklyn, so I'm not too familiarized with, Snug Harbor. I didn't learn at least about the early 90s when I first got here. I've only been to at least one time. I passed by the car, but unless I have a reason to stop inside the Snug Harbor Cultural Center, then I have a reason to go to Snug Harbor.
Right. I've done a show about Snug Harbor, and I did interviews with Miss Susskind, which a lot of people will recognize the name by Susskind, because David Susskind had his own show, and I was talking to his cousin.
Right.
I forgot her first name, but she told me the correct name to the way you pronounce it is Susskind, not Susskind. And Snug Harbor has what a lot of people don't realize. The Snug Harbor used to be a retirement home for old souls, for old sailors.
Correct.
Until it became what is that term? Until it was transferred over to the city to become
an historical site.
Huh?
An historical site.
Yeah. So it basically became a beautiful thing, because Snug Harbor has a beautiful fountain.
Right.
Historic buildings.
Yeah.
They have a couple of restaurants there.
Right.
They have a botanical garden.
Right.
They have the Chinese garden there.
Yeah.
And I spent the whole day there, and it's a very very beautiful place to visit.
Yeah.
And they also have a museum there, and also an art museum as well.
Right.
And it's just a beautiful place to get out on the spring or summer day, and sometimes even in the winter when there's snow. It's just a beautiful place to where you can learn about Staten Island history, and it's a cultural center. Yeah, that's it. That was the word I was lagging in. Snug Harbor has now become a cultural center,
right?
And it has a lot of history. There's not many people know, but in Newport Beach, there is a lighthouse.
Really?
And there's another lighthouse on Lighthouse Hill.
Right.
And Tibetan Museum.
Yeah.
The Sound Children's Museum in Snug Harbor. There's a Sandy Grounds, another cultural center.
Right.
There's a lot of places on Staten Island that most New Yorkers don't really know about.
Let's not forget Richmond Town. Richmond Town.
Huh?
Let's not forget Richmond Town.
Oh, yeah. Richmond Town, too. Sorry, folks. I forgot about Richmond Town. That's also a beautiful place as well, to where you could learn about American history. Hey, Brian, you've been to Richmond Town, haven't you?
I've been to Richmond Town a couple of times already.
And what do you like about it?
It's good. It's good. Richmond Town. It's good. I can tell you that for a fact. Like I said, what can I say about Richmond Town? It's like one of the first, settlements of the Dutch that came from Staten Island, believe it or not. So that's what I can say about that.
Right. And what about, excuse me, there's also the Conference House I've got in Townsville at the end of Highland Boulevard. There's the Conference House as well.
Yeah.
We have nice beaches on Staten Island.
Yes.
So have you ever been to any of the Staten Island beaches?
Not for a while, though. Maybe in 2017, 2018.
Which beach? Which part of what beach on Staten Island do you like the best?
I have no preference, really.
You have no preference?
No preference, though. I just wish they, extended the boardwalk maybe a little bit, but probably not. I mean, going towards past Newdorp a bit.
Right.
They should at least, done that. I mean, once you get to a certain point and, towards before, Newdorp, then they cut it off. It's all, grounds and everything. Because the boardwalk really starts right by the veteran, where you see all the veteran flags and everything. It starts right by, I think, Midland Avenue, around there. But,
Wow.
But it's only at least, years ago I once walked the whole complete boardwalk, believe it or not.
Right.
Yeah. It's not, listen, it may feel frustrating though, as long as you have the proper, shoe gear and everything. On a nice, warm spring day, I remember doing a lot of walking, back then,
Wow.
years ago. Oh yeah, I could really walk though. But I haven't, at least done that since. I haven't really, done too much walking around like I used to, though.
When I was younger,
Yeah.
I did a lot of walking when I was young.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. I would walk from Nelson Avenue and Highland Boulevard
Okay.
all the way up to Port Richmond Avenue and Richmond Terrace. And then I would walk back again.
Now that's a walk.
Yeah.
I can tell you that for a fact. I once walked from my house to Townville. It took me about 3 hours.
Wow.
I can tell you that for a fact.
Wow.
But then I decided to when I walked down to Townville, walk back. I didn't walk as far much. I had someone picking me up though, along Page Avenue.
Right.
Yeah. So I would have completed the trek, but it was just that long though. I started around I think 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got to Townville about 3, to the conference house area.
Yeah.
But that's a walk, I can tell you that.
Yeah,
for a fact.
definitely. Like me and my mom, we would always do a lot of walking.
Yeah.
And sometimes my mom would take me, my brother, our cousins,
Yeah.
and we would go for a long walk.
Yeah.
Another time, when Mom and I and my brother, we were living in Great Kills.
Yeah.
We walked. My mom and I, we walked all the way to my cousin's house.
Yeah.
To Huguenot, from Great Kills all the way to Huguenot.
Yeah.
And that's a good walk too.
It is. But you also got to make sure you're walking, with the proper shoe gear, and it also depends on the weather too. If it's rainy weather, you don't want to make the walk. You want to walk in at least, beautiful sunny weather.
Yeah.
Of course.
Walking is a very good exercise.
Right.
As long as you keep your body moving, you keep your legs moving, you're getting exercise, and that's good for your health.
It is.
So, is there any topics that you would like to talk about?
I think we covered most of the topics, though. Let's see, we covered technology. We're not going to go into too much of political stuff. Unless we had someone in the political, environment. Of course,
right.
Your father was. Your uncle was, a former borough president of Staten Island, may rest in soul, a guy Gaetano V. Molinari, and as well as your other cousin Susan Molinari. Like I said, New York City has to straighten up its transportation and everything. But I think it's more tragic in the news, though, that one person, not in New York, murdered somebody over a chicken sandwich at Popeyes. That's really, out of control. And now we learned that the 9 Americans who visited Mexico was targeted intentionally, which is even more tragic news, though.
Wow.
By a drug cartel. So it's very dangerous. It's we have I've been to Canada my life. I've never. Now I saw what happened in Mexico, though. It all depends where you go to. This happened in the northern, western part of Mexico. I'm kind of scared myself too to go out there, and I just recently got my. If I remember being a guest on your show, Guy, I did talk about getting a passport, want to travel, And after that episode, about a week later, I finally made the opportunity, got myself a passport. Within a month later.
Wow.
Yes, I finally now have a passport to travel overseas, including going to Canada now.
Oh, good.
Yes, I even have my I have a passbook, and I also got a card too. By the way, it costs a little extra though, but it's well worth it. The only thing about the card is that it's only good when you travel to like domestic to Canada. But if you're traveling overseas, or by boat or by plane, you definitely got to carry that passport with you, though. The other card.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Because they got a stamp on the time market.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So basically, thanks to your show, I had the encouragement. The following, I appeared in July. We taped in July, came on August. So after that time frame, I finally got that passport.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes.
And what do you think, if you were able to talk to the politicians at large, what would you tell them, what improvements that you would like to see, or what improvements that they have planned, what would you ask them?
Well, apparently one thing I would ask for is that we need to fix the situations with the homeless though. I did security for a company, and I monitored clients, aka which are the homeless people, like mostly men, and the problem we're seeing is that there's so many increases on them. There's so many increases, and we need to find a way to actually have decreases where everyone at least has a home. Another problem we need to what's called clean up though is the opioid situation and the drugs and the drugs and everything. Plus another thing we gotta do is increase education, because I think adult education is not being pushed enough. Especially in Staten Island and stuff, because we're in a technology age, and everything is not self-explanatory anymore. And it's like you're asking. It's like, and when something's prompting you to when you buy something, they have to ask a question like a question like, is this the amount? Do you want it printed? Do you want it emailed? And we need to express more adult education though. Another thing is on Staten Island. Not only adult education, we have to improve. We have to at least have community centers. I don't think we have. Sure, you have the JCC, you have the YMCA, but even though you have the YMCA on Broadway, it does not support enough though. We have, we're very diverse. We have diversity in the northern eastern part of Staten Island, and I think somebody needs to open up a community center to help the minorities out. And we have, the current politicians here, they're being vulnerable, and they need to strengthen up. They need something where the people, anybody, I'm going to say anybody of any color, diverse race, needs that provided attention though. Their books, the books are not even pushed anymore these days.
There has to be programs.
Correct.
To where no matter who you are, what background you are, no matter if you're black, white, green, yellow, purple, blue, no matter what culture you are from.
It's common sense.
Or heritage. It's got to be equal for everybody, and there's got to be a program which there has to be funding to fund it to get kids into to where they could better themselves.
Yeah.
And learn to be better citizens and have a future, and to so that they don't spend their time virtually on the streets all the time, where they might get in trouble or whatever. So there's got to be programs that would benefit them.
That's correct.
I wish we had more time to talk.
Right.
But I see the clock's about to run down and get us in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say to everybody at home, I hope you really enjoyed my show. And I hope you enjoy my guest, Brian LaPayower. I want to say thank you, Brian, for being a guest on my show and directing my show at the same time. So I just want to say thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching my show. My future episode will be coming up soon that I'll be creating a new project where I'll be editing a show of the Bronx Zoo and the Staten Island Zoo. So keep a lookout for that. That'll be